Hello, it's November 7th, 2024. Today was the sixth enforcement attempt in Korea for Brian's return. Unfortunately, it failed again. I've been debating whether I should leave this message for Brian or I should be speaking to people who might come across my channel, or if somebody's interested in what happened in Brian's case, if they would like to look up for some reference or records, I thought maybe it would be helpful. So I thought it's probably more helpful to leave all this historical record in English. So here I am. So what happened? I'm hesitant to give out too much information because I don't want the taking parent, the mother of the child, to know what my strategy is, what are the difficulties I'm facing, what are the different approaches I will be taking for the next step. So I don't want to disclose too much, but long story short, the enforcement officers are still unwilling to do their job. So right before we went into the school, the taking parent, the mother's younger brother, showed up, and he basically picked up Brian and ran away. But within the school's premise, he hid away Brian and then showed up by himself and then started making arguments. Then the mother arrived. She started holding on to Brian. And by the way, Brian was spotted trying to be escorted out of the school. So we were notified. We went there. The mom was holding the child, didn't let us even talk to the child without her. And most importantly, the enforcement officer simply gave up, saying, "I think we did enough today, and let's call it a day. Let's go home." And that's how it ended. It's been more than 5 years. I can put it this way. 5 years ago, just imagine what you were doing 5 years ago. That was before COVID. It all started from that time point, and it's been going on for such a long time. And who knows when this will all end. Recently, there was an article on 중앙일보. It's one of the major newspapers in Korea. It's probably the biggest. But I'll leave the link below in the description section of this video so you can read that article. But basically, the article is titled, "Korea is the haven for child abductors." And I can't disagree with that, because that is true. It's so chaotic. I feel bad for Brian. Brian doesn't know what's going on. But the mother uses Brian to make up a reason for why she cannot return Brian. Saying Brian doesn't want to go to dad, he's afraid, he doesn't want to leave. But of course, that's almost expected. He hasn't seen me for so many years. And this is just, it's not even protecting Brian, but it's an obsession. And it's the mother's selfish desire to possess Brian and have him to herself at the expense of the dad being cut off from his life indefinitely and growing up without knowing who dad is. I didn't want this video to be just a complaint, but it is the reality that Korean government failed, and it's just ironic. Korean Central Authority, who was supposed to be taking responsibility for these hate cases, they're not central, and they don't even have authority. So it's just all those titles that they are given to these people who don't really have the power or control over the situation. It's just wrong. The enforcement officer being the biggest obstacle for the enforcement, and I jokingly called them anti-enforcement officers. I hope Korea would change. And again, I always make it clear that this is not about Korean people. I love Korean people, and I come from Korea too, and there's no reason to blame the citizens of Korea. That's just ridiculous. This is about the system that is incorrectly built, full of flaws, and the people who are in power, who are in the decision-making position, are not willing to change the system, and they're not willing to help us or help the child return back home. I'm hoping that soon there will be some meaningful change, and I'm only patiently waiting for that day. Thanks for watching. And again, I'll leave the link for the article below in the description section. So if anybody's interested, you can read that article. One little tip is you can open the link on Google Chrome, and on the top right hand section there will be a select menu. If you click that, there will be translate this page, and that will translate the page to the language that you prefer. And for the English speakers, that will be a really helpful way to read the article. Thank you so much for listening, and we'll stay strong. Thank you.